Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Special. Happy Friday evening to you all. Happy warm Friday evening. It's very warm in England the last few days. But in this video, we're talking about some breaking news that came out probably, I'd say, 15 minutes ago surrounding Spurs making an inquiry for Bournemouth attacker Antoine Semenyo. We're talking about that. We're talking about updates surrounding Kyle Walker-Peters back to Tottenham potentially this summer. As a little bit of Marc Guehi flavoured news. So plenty of good stuff to talk about today. Not a long stream, all right. It's just too hot to be doing long streams. You know, with the light and everything going on around me, it's too warm to be doing long streams. But I hope you're enjoying the sun if you are in England. Evening, Sonia and Sean and Spurs, Jacob, Janice, Bazza, Mikey, Joshua. How are we all? And look, Thomas Frank being here now, and he's done his promo work and everything. By the sounds of things, Spurs are starting to do stuff in the transfer market. Let's start with David Ornstein. This is breaking news. So that Tottenham Hotspur have made an inquiry to Bournemouth over Antoine Semenyo. Tottenham possibility appeals to the winger, but key part here. But Bournemouth's valuation of the Ghana international is deemed too high, and Spurs, like Manchester United, are not proceeding at present. So it got me thinking. There's a few schools of thought, right? So follow me here. You can tell me what you think after it. Bournemouth, I think today they sorted out Kirkez to Liverpool. It's about 40 million. Dean Huijsen is obviously already playing for Real Madrid. He was 50 odd million. And you've got Zabani, looks like he's going to Paris Saint-Germain for even more. So even if they said, let's say 50 million for each, they've made 150 million, okay? Do you think they were going to sell Semenyo on the cheap? They don't need to sell. And this was always my big thing about Eberechi Eze. He has a release clause. The Palace side of things, they're more likely to do business with you before they've sold anyone. That's if you want Eze, right? Before they sell a Guehi, for example. But Bournemouth have already sold 2 players. They're about to sell a third, which is 3 of their back 4, by the way. Why on earth then would they then sell one of their best players? They've sold 150 million. Well, they're going to sell about 150 million pounds worth of players. They're not going to come to the table and go, yeah, let's get you to do a good deal on Semenyo. No, they're going to want absolute prime, top of the market valuation on him. They're going to want that. That's normal. That's common. And you're going to get some Spurs fans that are going to be really happy that Spurs have decided that they've deemed this deal to be too expensive. I get it. I get why you want Spurs to be doing business. At the end of the day, though, it has to be right. You can't just make any random signing for any random amount of money and it's right. It's not. Could Spurs spend 70 million on Semenyo? Yeah, they could. Does it make it right? Probably not, no. Could they spend 85 million on Mohamed Kudus? Yeah, they probably could. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. And that's the key thing to remember in all these deals. And that's not me being a pro-Levy guy whatsoever. It's just being a realistic human being. Do you think Semenyo is worth 65, 70 million? Do you think Kudus is worth 85 million? I don't. I don't think at all they're worth that money. So that's why I'm not disappointed. Now, if the deal was closer to 50, I think Spurs probably would have done it. But I believe the figure starts with a 6. Because I think Bournemouth are going to want money that Brentford are going to get for Mbeumo. Now, even though Mbeumo had a much better season, they view Semenyo like an Mbeumo, so they're going to want the Mbeumo money. So with all that knowledge, it's not shocking. But now Spurs are supposedly making the inquiries. They're starting. Again, though, making inquiry. I thought Johan Lang works in the quiet. unless perhaps she's made this inquiry, it's not very quiet, so that's not a good sign. Maybe his moniker of working in the silence is falling apart. But where do Spurs go from here is something that I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about. Semenyo being deemed too expensive, could that change? Absolutely. Will the price come from, let's say, 65 to 57? Potentially. Because Bournemouth might look at it and go, still really good money. And if you're making, let's say, 200 million on these 4 players, that will sort out 2 different windows. They could do that. But obviously, if they were to, let's say, move off of another player, maybe not a big name in the squad, but another player, then they're not going to be doing you any favors, are they? Let's be real. So there's that. Okay, now where Spurs go from here? Obviously, Mbeumo is still out there. We're still being linked with Mbeumo. There's still movements in and around that deal. I still think he goes to Manchester United. I will continue to harp on that point. There'll be players that we're linked to and doing work with agents and clubs that we don't know about right now. Okay. Obviously, Kudus is another one that's come out. Unless Kudus is closer to 50 million, I'm not very interested either. Even then, it feels like a bit too much. 5 goals in one season as an attacker. Okay, did he get 10 plus assists? No, he got 4. You're like, come on, that's not 50 million pounds player. Oh, but you can beat a man. God, good for you, bud. I quite like players like, I don't know, Heung-Min Son, that, they get goal contributions. Dejan Kulusevski. Hell, Brennan Johnson scores goals. So there's that. No, but look, in terms of, Eze's still on the table. We're still interested in Eze, but it's been deemed a difficult deal. And look, we all knew it was going to be a difficult deal. Eze might just be at Palace until his contract ends, because no team is going to want to spend 60 million in one summer on one guy. It's not really what teams do. I mean, even Florian Wirtz's deal was stretched over 5 years. So it's not about the value on the piece of paper. It's about what the value and how it works out to that. So look, we'll see on that side of things. Moving on, though, let's talk a little bit about Kyle Walker-Peters. So on KWP, Alistair Gold saying that Spurs have considered a move later into the window to bring Kyle Walker-Peters back as a free agent and a club-trained option. Walker-Peters would be keen on a return, but Spurs are likely to focus on other key areas first this summer, which could allow other interested clubs to seal a deal first. I personally don't get that. Okay, so look, we've talked about KWP. We know he's academy trained. He's homegrown. He's a Spurs boy. Blah, blah, blah. We know all that information. Prem proven. We know that. What I don't get is to why they want to do other deals first. He's free. He's on a free deal. And we know, obviously, free deals aren't free. But this is an easy deal. This is a cheaper deal. This is Daniel Levy's wet dream. Cheap, easy, homegrown. It's perfect. This feels like one that if you're interested in him, why would you wait? Now, the irony is when I go, I want a left back, this guy does also play left back. But yeah, for me, if you're waiting, it means you don't really like him. And he's one of you have a list of players and he's on the list, but he won't be near the top. He'll be the middle or below. And you thinking, I'll get this deal done in August. It's not how it's going to work. It wouldn't shock me if Spurs, for the next 2 weeks, were trying to do something on a fullback. And if it doesn't work, then they go KWP. That's where I think they might be, personally. Marshall, Boris, how are we all? Does this mean they might look for a better wing back? Yeah, I think so, maybe. It's the only logical explanation it could be is if they're not going to get this deal, which is free and easy and done, and the player wants it and we want it, the reason why you're not going to do it is you think you could do better. So, is Cole Peters improving? Yes. Would Nuno Mendes work? Okay. But yeah, there's that on KWP. Well, obviously, like I thought his name would pop back up, but we'll keep an eye on him. Moving on to a little bit of quickly on Rodrigo Bentancur. Tom Barkley saying that Spurs want Bentancur to sign a new contract, but if they can't do so, a departure would not be ruled out. Atleti are still interested. The way Thomas Frank has spoken about Bentancur, the way Thomas Frank has hyped up Bentancur, it just makes me think he's going to stay. He is going to sign a new deal. Thomas Frank seems to look at Bentancur as a player that is a real top player. I think we all know Bentancur can be a top player. We've seen it at Spurs. The issue is every time he gets a run of games and a bit of form, something happens. He gets injured, he gets suspended, whatever it might be, he misses time. But we saw it after the international break, the last one of the season for Uruguay, and then through to the rest of the season. Bentancur was one of our best players. So I don't hate the idea he gets an extension. I don't. He didn't deserve one earlier in the season. I'll be real. In about January, February, March time, I didn't think he deserved a new contract. Now, benefit of doubt, lots of injuries and suspensions. Totally get it. Once we got our guys back fit and healthy, then how did he look? He looked pretty damn good again. So I don't mind it. I wouldn't want to be giving him like a 5-year deal. He's too old for a 5-year deal, in my opinion. But yeah, I think on Bentancur, I think it makes some sense to give him a new deal. You know, you offer me a Cole Walker-Peters alternative, Dennis Kirkett. I think he's fine at Sunderland. Do Atleti want all of our Spanish-speaking players? Maybe they do. Maybe they do. I think they're about to crash out of the Club World Cup, I think. Richard Rios and Bentancur double pivot. Wow. KVN has just sacked off Lucas Bergvall. I'll have Lucas Bergvall over every single option that I've seen Spurs fans give me at that position. Because actually this season, Lucas Bergvall was probably our best midfielder, barring maybe James Maddison. Carl Weeds might not want to come. Everton is a much better option in this occasion's career. Well, he might want Everton, but no, in the article, it does say he does want the Spurs move. Spurs need to get good enough to win the Club World Cup in 2029, which might also be in the US. I hope the 1 year that we're not there is just when it's in the US, just to annoy you. Am I up for Bayern versus Boca Juniors? No. I've not watched any of the Club World Cup, mate. Whatever number is 0 and below, whatever that number is below 0, that's my level of interest in the Club World Cup. I've watched none of it. Whereas the rugby is on today, I believe. Is it on today? The Lions versus Argentina. I don't know what time kickoff is. It doesn't tell me. 8 p.m. Haha. Well, there you go. 8 p.m. I'll be watching the rugby. That's what I will do. Could you please summarise the Semenyo inquiry? I can. Will I? I don't know. I'll come back to it if I think about it. Or Van Gogh. Marshall can tell you. Marshall can do my job for me. Look, finishing off, though, with a little bit of Marc Guehi flavoured news. Obviously, a little backstory before I tell you what's happening. Rangers have agreed a deal for Bournemouth defender Max Aarons. Bournemouth are just shedding players. Fair play. Fair play. Mickey van der Ven is on Ibiza. Fair enough. No. In terms of Marc Guehi, so look, 1 year left on his contract. Okay. That's unbelievable, Van Gogh. That is unbelievable. 1 year after his contract, he's expected to leave Palace this summer. Where's he going? No one's too sure, but expected to leave. Well, a little bit of news come out about that because a certain team is selling one of their English centre-backs this summer because Liverpool are expected to make a significant offer for Marc Guehi. But it is said that Marc Guehi wants guarantees or to be basically promised regular first-team football. It was a panic offer in January from Spurs. It shows massively. Yeah, I think we're not going to be in here. Even if Romero was to leave, which I've got a feeling that he might not. I don't know. Something about it. Look, we're June, so it's a long time away, but I just got a feeling Romero might stay. Paul, how are you, my friends? I'd rather players got a decent rest. Colby's if we could renew those season tickets. There's a long waiting list for season tickets at the moment, I think. There you go, Van Gogh. If you look at Bazza has told you. All right. Others may have, but I know Bazza has. And Marshall uses some mad emojis. Panic coming out. It's to be in the news. Look at us, we're serious. Yeah, look, no, Spurs love a good PR offer. Find out, like, hey, we'll offer this amount for this player. How many times does that actually make any damn sense? No, it doesn't. So, look, in terms of Marc Guehi, I think Marc Guehi goes. I don't think Marc Guehi is going to Spurs. I always had a thought it would be Chelsea. But Liverpool saying Jarell Quansah, I could see him being there. I think he's younger than Konate as well, which is mad to think about. But obviously, Van Dijk getting a bit older as well. It makes a ton of sense that he would go to Liverpool. It does. Liverpool are spending big this summer. I think they kind of obviously got their hands on the Premier League. They've looked at Arsenal take a bit of a step back in the league last season. They've looked at City that have fallen off last season, but they've spent. Rodri's coming back. Haaland's fit again. City are going to be much better this season. Obviously, Reinders and Cherky's going to be there, and Ait-Nouri got a left back finally. Like, they're going to be good there. So I think Liverpool are spending big. You know, obviously Frimpong and Wirtz and Kirkes, maybe a striker. But at the end of the day, it's like they're trying to capitalise. And this is going to be an interesting summer for us because, like, how far behind we actually are, it's alarming, you know. Konate might be heading to Madrid. Oh, interesting. Do you see Frank slapping sense to Romero as got away with a lot under Ange? We're not type policy Frank has with his players. That's my centre back you're talking about there. Be careful. Imagine Wirtz runs down his contract and joins Madrid after 5 years. I think Liverpool will learn from it now. I think Liverpool will learn for it. Don't make the same mistake again. They sold Trent for 10 million, basically. I'm praying my little sister doesn't become a City fan. I'm trying best to steer her into Spurs. Spurs kit, done. There you go. Spurs kit and done. Or what? All right, Boris, don't threaten me. Jesus. Don't win the league. Don't think so. Imagine Arsenal again miss out on a decent striker. They'll get one. Ekitike is a weird one, but I think they'll get Sesko. I know Yorkerez really wants it, but I think they get Sesko. I hope we get Xavi Simons. That's who I go. I hope we get Xavi Simons. Leipzig cash in. You know what I mean? But let's see. Spurs don't really work over the weekend very much. Heads up about weekend streams. Oh, back to normal time, sort of weekend streams wise. I don't work at weekends, so I can start doing it at a reasonable time again. So the Australians will be happy to hear about that. We'll be back live tomorrow. I may see my gran in the morning, but we'll be live tomorrow to talk a lot more about Spurs. Definitely Sunday, back talking about Spurs. Have a longer stream, like a nice hour, get him in there, chatting about loads of stuff, chatting some nonsense, bullying Van Gogh a little bit. That kind of vibe. It's going to be a good little video. Who's your surprise club next season for the Premier League? Tottenham Hotspur. Why is no one for Gyökeres? It's bollocks. Because everyone wants to sign me. I'm a target man. Can Jed Spence improve even more? Yes. There you go. But look, plenty of good stuff in there. Back tomorrow, talk a lot more about Spurs. Go and enjoy the rest of your evenings, you absolute bloody legends. I'll speak to you all later. Talk a lot more about Spurs. Thank you so much for joining. Join the Discord if you want. Jazz is the leader. All that stuff. Here's a link. You're more than welcome to join. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow to talk a lot more about Spurs. Take care, everyone. Look after yourselves. Peace.